This conference will now be recorded.
So, without any further delay, I would like to uh, mention the main points for today, main agenda for today. So, this course is specifically about LoadRunner tool, which is one of the most widely used performance testing tool. So, the agenda for today is what is performance testing. Of course, there are multiple tools in the market, but before going there and discussing about those things, we just have to understand what is performance testing at a very high level, right? So that's the reason. And then load runner architecture, because this course is all about load runner. So it's, we have to discuss about the architecture and understand and see how the tool works. And then practical uh, example, we will record a small flow and we'll also replay the script. Okay, so we'll see how to record and replay, or how to develop the script and replay, or how to generate the script and replay. Okay, and then we'll also see the course content, and then finally uh, it is open for question and answers. Now whatever, now after uh, every point here, like after every point I will give some time for questions. I mean, let's say when I'm done with what is performance testing, I will allow you to ask a few questions from your end. Similarly, for all other points as well. Okay, and finally, anyways, we do have a separate time. I mean, for Q&A, so we can address all the remaining questions there. Okay, so without wasting any time, I would like to begin with what is performance testing. So for that, I would like to explain or begin with this particular slide, which differentiates between what is a functional testing and a non-functional testing. So basically, for every software, okay, the testing has to be done, right? And within that testing, I mean, you can differentiate as functional testing and non-functional testing. Okay, so functional testing, basically, it's all about testing the functionality of the application. Okay, now let's say if I give you an application and ask you to test the login functionality, what would you do? You would generally enter username, password, and then click on login button. So basically you launch the application and then you enter username, password, and login button. And then if the user is successfully logged in, that means login functionality is working, right? That means you're testing the functionality of the application. Similarly, for that particular functionality testing, we do have some tools also, like Selenium, UFT, Micro Focus UFT, Unified Functional Testing. So these tools are primarily used, or most widely used for functional automation testing. Okay, um, like instead of doing manual testing, we can do some automation as well. Similarly, uh, I mean, apart from functional testing, you also have something called non-functional testing. So, non-functional testing is all about testing the non-functional aspects like performance, right? So, the most widely used tools in the market are LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoad, etc. But there are multiple tools. Of course, there are multiple tools, but most widely are used are these two, LoadRunner and JMeter. Okay. Now, if I have to give any generic example, right? If you take an example of a lift service, like which will go from ground floor to first floor to second floor, like that. So let's say you you are on the ground floor and you entered into the lift and then you press 3. That means you want to go to third floor. You want to go to third floor. Now, when you press 3, if you want to test the functionality of it, you have to verify whether the lift is going to third floor or not when you press 3 button. Okay, that is testing the functionality aspect. Now, if you press 3, how much time it is taking to reach to third floor is testing the performance of it. Of course, it will go to third floor, but how much time it is taking to go to third floor is about testing the performance, okay, of that particular lift. Now, are you the only one who can travel? I mean, who can go to third floor? No, right? I mean, the lift has some capacity, right? Let's say the lift has a capacity to handle like 10 people. So that means when 10 people are on board, I mean 10 people are inside the lift and then press 3 button, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is is all about checking the performance. That means the load you have applied the load. Okay, what is the load? The number of users in the lift. The number of users, okay, in the lift. When you applied the load and then press 3 button, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is all about checking the performance, right? If no one is there, okay, and if you press 3 button, or if single person is there and if you press 3 button, okay, it might go to third floor, like in, let's say, it might take some little time. But but especially when it comes to performance testing, there should be some amount of load that you have to apply. What is the load that we can apply here? The capacity of the lift. What is the capacity? Let's say 10 people. When 10 people are inside the lift and when you press 3 button, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is important for us. So as if so from performance tester point of view, we are not much very worried about the functionality. It is automatically taken care by the manual testers, okay, or functional testers. So don't get confused. Manual or functional testers both are same. So from performance testing perspective, we are much concerned about the performance of the application rather than functionality. Okay, so so if I have to write some definition of performance testing, I can write like this at a very high level. Checking the performance of an application by applying some load or expected load. Right? I told you the example of a lift, right? So load means here number of users. So when you want to check the performance by applying some load, then only it is meaningful, right? So that's the reason this definition makes sense. Okay, when you relate it to software also, okay, you can relate it. Checking the performance of a software application can simply mention like this: software application. Okay, checking the performance of a software application by applying some load or expected load. Well and good. Okay, so this definition you can take it into count. Okay, so that is performance testing, guys. So I'm sure you might have got some idea about what is performance testing by now. Okay, so it's all about applying load and then checking the performance of that. Now, uh, so if you have any questions, just make a note of it. You can ask me later also, or you can ping in the chat window. Okay, the chat window is always open. You please do ping in the chat window as well. I generally go through the chat window at the end of the session. I'll answer all the questions at the end. Now, without further delay, I mean, what are the different tools in the market? LoadRunner, JMeter, with respect to performance, LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoad, Gatling, like that, there are various tools in the market. But LoadRunner and JMeter are most widely used tools. Okay, so because this course is all about LoadRunner, we will try to understand the LoadRunner architecture first. What are the different components of LoadRunner architecture? Now let me open. Okay, so before going to that LoadRunner architecture, I would like to explain a couple of points why performance testing is important. Okay, so of course we know what is performance testing, but at the same time we have to know why it is important as well, right? So for that, let me take you to go through this slide for you. Okay, so here if you see, if performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, that means pages loading forever, inconsistency, and may further and further may result in business loss. It is very much true. If every application, every software application must undergo the performance testing phase. If any of the application is skipping the performance testing phase, there is a huge risk involved which will directly impact the financial aspect. Okay, if you remember in 2013 or 2014, I think one of the e-commerce website, okay, in India here, I guess, as far as I remember, that was the first time they announced a big sale, okay, a festival sale or a big sale, whatever you call it. And then because that's the first time they announced, and let's say at 12 p.m. They started the big sale. Within very few minutes, the application crashed. Within very few minutes, the application crashed. Because why it crashed? Because at that point of time, even they couldn't they couldn't analyze like how many users might access their application. The amount of users accessing the application at that point of time was very huge. Okay, because of huge load on the application crashed. Obviously, when it is a big sale, many people will access the application. In normal days, let's say 10,000 people access. If it is a big sale, no more, maybe 100,000 people will access it, right? That's the difference. So that was the very first time they announced it, and it crashed. Now from next year onwards, they made sure that the application is supporting huge number of users. Okay, they were anticipating the load, they were expecting the load. They made sure that the expected load is handled properly. Okay, so what will happen if you don't take care of performance testing? It will directly impact your financial aspect. Okay, it will hurt your financial business. Okay, so that's what it is mentioned here. Now, you see, the goal of the performance testing is to find performance bottlenecks. Bottlenecks is nothing but issues only. So it is another term for issues. You can call it as issues also, but in performance testing terminology, we call it as bottleneck. So the goal of performance testing is to find performance bottleneck rather than finding functional bugs. So we are not worried here. We are not here to identify functional bugs. We are here to identify performance bottlenecks. Okay, that's the main goal for us. We are here to break the system in terms of performance. Okay, so we have to make sure that we are trying to break the system. Okay, for you can test with some XYZ users. You can test with the number of users that your client mentioned. You can test beyond that. Okay, we'll discuss that later. Now, that's the reason the performance testing is very, very important. Okay, nobody should think that performance testing, is it really useful? Will it be used in every project? 110% yes. Okay, if they don't, if they don't go through performance testing phase, they will see the consequences later. Okay, nowadays nobody is ready to wait for longer duration. See, let's say you are using some email. Okay, now you want to attach something and you want to send an email. Now when you click on add attachment and you're trying to add a file, it is taking too much time to add. Okay, it happened once or twice or thrice. Fourth time, the user will shift to some other email provider. Yes or no? That means there is a business loss. The user is moving to some other provider. That means it's a direct impact on the business. So that is the reason performance testing is very, very important. Okay, that's the reason it is very, very important. 1 second, guys. Just be on. Okay, so hope you got some clarity about what is performance testing by now. Let's go to the next point, um, which is called LoadRunner architecture. Okay, So let me go to the slide. Uh, 1 second. Okay, so here it is. Now, this is LoadRunner architecture. I'm not going to show the complete architecture diagram right away. We are going to derive the architecture based out of some questions. Now, let's say I have to do a performance testing for a banking application. Let's say I have to do for many banking application. Now, if I want to test the performance of a banking application, let's say with 500 users. Why? What do you mean by these 500 users? That's the load. That means, let's say you own the you. Let's say you are the performance tester. I am the client. I told you that, hey, I am the owner of this bank. I want you to test. I want you to do the performance testing for this with 500 users. That means you have to tell when 500 users are accessing the banking application, how it is responding, how much time it is taking to load the pages. Okay, so all those things you have to tell me. Then what is your approach? What is your approach there? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops and ask them to log in and do some work activities on the banking application? Will you do that? Will you be able to do that? Can anyone tell? Will If I ask you to do performance testing for a banking application, that means, let's say with 500 users. Now that means 500 users should log into the banking application and then perform some activities like transferring money, downloading bank statement, paying credit card bill, and so on. Now, how do you test it? How do you test? What is your approach? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops and make them sit at one place and ask them to perform some or ask them to work on the banking application?
No, sir.
Is it possible or not possible?
No, sir. It is not possible.
Not possible. I mean, possible. Let's say possible. Because I said 500 users, it's possible. But the amount required to bring 500 people and
Hello.
500 laptops, very huge amount required. Okay, in the worst case, let's say it is possible.
Hello.
But what about 5,000 users? What about 5,000 users? If I ask you to test with 5,000 users, what will you do then? Will you bring 5,000 users and ask them to test? It's not possible, right? Definitely not possible. Definitely not possible. So that's the reason here we have a component called load generator. See, load generator is also a component, it's also a machine, a highly configured machine, okay, which will support the number of users. Okay, uh, okay. So load generator is a component which will generate virtual users for us. Load generator is a component which will generate virtual users for us. That means instead of real users, these virtual users which are generated by load generator, which are generated or which are simulated by load generator, will do the task for us. They do the same actions what a normal user do, like clicking a button, clicking a link, and so on. So load generator is a highly configured machine which will simulate multiple number of users. How many number of users each load generator machine can simulate? It depends on the configuration of load generator machine and at the same time some other factors also which we will discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so all in all, load generator is a component which will simulate the virtual users for us. Those virtual users will mimic or do the same actions like a normal user do, like clicking a link, clicking a button, and so on. Okay, you have load generator which can simulate virtual users. Now, you need you have to test the you have to do performance testing for banking
Hello.
application. Now, let's say one of the critical scenario for banking application One of the critical scenario for banking application is transfer money. Transfer money is one of the critical scenario for any bank. Yes or no? Now, for transferring money, what are the sequence of steps that you have? Okay, you have to test performance for transferring money. Okay, that means let's say if 100 users are transferring money, how it is responding? Are 100 users facing any issues? Are the pages loading properly? Okay, are the pages loading within time, specific time? So how do you test? How do you know? For that, you need to generate a script for that particular scenario, critical scenario, and replay it as many number of times as required. So how do you generate a script? For that, you need a sequence of steps first. So let's say for transfer money, the first step you do is launch. The second step you do is login. The third step you do is, let's say, navigate to your account. Okay. The fourth step, let's say, is select a beneficiary, right? The fifth step, maybe let's say, enter amount, okay, and click transfer button. Sixth step, let's say, log out. So these are the possible steps. Okay, these are the possible steps for transfer money scenario, which is a critical scenario. Now, if I have to test this critical scenario, I have to develop script for all these steps. For all these steps, I have to develop a script. Now, for developing a script or for generating a script or for recording a script, okay, for including all these steps, these sort of steps, I need a component. That component is called Vugen. Vugen is a component which is used to develop a script or record a script or generate a script. Okay, so Vugen will take care of all the script development. Okay, we have to work on Vugen for script development purpose. Okay, so what is load generator? It is all about simulating the virtual users. What is Vugen? It's all about a component which will assist us in developing or recording or generating a script. Okay, now let's say the script is ready. You have developed or recorded some script. Now there should be some platform for you where you can upload the scripts and then trigger the execution. Where you can upload the scripts and trigger the execution. Okay, now that particular component is called controller or performance center. Okay, that component is called controller performance center. The script what you develop here should be uploaded to controller, and from here you can configure the scenarios and then you can trigger the execution. Okay, okay, now execution is done. Okay, now let's say execution is done. Basically execution, where exactly the execution will happen? Once you upload it into controller, once you create scenario here and once you trigger the execution, the controller will transfer all the scripts to load generator machine and the actual execution happens here. And the data will be transferred back to controller, like the logs, results, and all, everything will be transferred back to controller. Who will take care of this data transferring process? There is something called agent process. There is something called agent process which acts as a bridge between load generator and controller. Okay, it will transfer the data to and fro between these two components. Okay, now let's say the execution is done. You want to analyze some results. Now for analyzing the results, which is also again very important, okay, because based on your results only the client will take a decision. Okay, so for analyzing the results, we do have a component called analysis. Analysis is a component which is best utilized to analyze the results, performance test results. Okay, it will provide various metrics in terms of graphs. Okay, easy to analyze. Okay, easy to maintain as well. So these are the different components of LoadRunner architecture. Okay, I repeat very quickly within 1 minute. I'll explain you once again. Load generator is all about simulating the virtual users. Vugen is all about recording or generating the script. Controller or performance center is all about uploading the scripts and triggering the execution. Where they and then after the execution, there is another component called analysis to analyze the results, where the actual execution happens on in the load generator machine. Who will transfer the scripts or files from controller to load generator? Agent process. So these are the different components of load runner architecture. Okay. So okay, I'll just take a couple of minutes of time and ask you if you have any questions now. Okay, we are done with first 2 points. We will discuss these two in some in couple of minutes. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Hi Krishik, this is Chaitra.
Chaitra, okay,
Hello.
please go ahead. Yeah, please go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah. So you're going to teach the load runner enterprise, right? Not the performance center, which is earlier version.
Here in this version, we are going to take controller,
Mm-hmm.
and we I can give you the screenshots of LRE. But if you want to learn load runner enterprise, I mean enterprise, see, controller and enterprise or performance center, the options are same. Okay, I mean the way you create a scenario, the way you upload a script, the way you configure scenario, the way you trigger the execution, everything is same. The platforms are different. Okay, so here we will be discussing in controller, and I will be giving you screenshots of LRE. Okay, but if you want to learn how to execute in LRE separately, there is a separate course for it. Okay, only LRE. They won't teach scripting, analysis, load runner concepts. They won't teach anything there. They just teach execution through LRE. But for that, I mean, it's up to you. If you can take a call, but I feel that all the options are same. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever we have in controller, the same options we have in LRE or performance center also. It's only the controller is a standalone component. The performance center or LRE is a SaaS based version. That means you have to. It's a kind of URL where you have to just log in, and once you log in, all the options will be same.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, okay. So that is the first 2 points. We have already covered what is
Okay.
performance testing. Let me check if I have any
Hello.
questions in the chat window. Uh, Karun, sorry, actually, you can just sign out and sign in again. Hopefully, it should work for you now. Okay. Yes, Adon, yes, you are true. We have to use virtual users. Mitra, you are absolutely right. It is impossible to bring all 5,000 users at one place. True. Okay. So let's go to next. Okay, next point. So I this point is all about recording a sample script and replaying. Can anyone tell me which component I should use for uh, explaining this concept?
Visual.
Vugen, right? So Vugen is the component that I have to use because that is the component which we will use for recording or generating or developing the script. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sample application just for today because this is a demo, right? I'm going to take a sample application, which is a web tools. Okay. And I'm going to record 3 steps: launch, and then login, and then log off. These 3 steps, okay, I'm going to record. And then I'm going to replay and I'm going to tell you how the code is getting generated. Okay. So next 10-15 minutes, we will discuss this. So the Vugen is the component which we use for recording or generating the script. How do you launch Vugen? Basically, once you install LoadRunner, you will get Vugen, okay, as a standalone component. You just have to search for Vugen like this. Okay, so you will see this Vugen, Virtual User Generator app. Okay, just click on this Vugen, and then it will launch Vugen. Okay, it will launch Vugen.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Oh, your voice is not audible. Whoever is asking. Okay. So, anyways, you can. We have a Q&A session, right? Just wait for a couple of minutes. Few minutes. Okay. So this is Vuegen, guys. This is how it comes when you launch Vuegen. So, I mean, here you
Hello.
can see the recent scripts that we have developed.
Hello.
These are the main menu options which we will discuss and learn one by one in our upcoming
Hello.
sessions. Yeah, tell me.
Sorry, Kaushik. Kaushik, I can't hear you anything. Like, is my voice audible to everyone? Like, I'm
Yes,
testing.
yes. Your voice is
Yes,
I'm
audible
yes,
enjoying.
now.
we are hearing.
Yeah, thank you for my question. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is how Vuegen screen would come up once you launch it. So these are all the recent scripts that we have worked on. These are the different menu options which we will discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. So this is a section where it shows what's new in our upcoming versions. Okay, what are the different protocols it's gonna support and all those things. Okay, so we can see that anytime, even in your laptop. Once you install, you can see it. That should be fine. Now, how do you create a new script? Now, the script that I want to create is launch, login, and log off. For these three steps, I would like to create a new script. So now I'm going to go to File, New Script and Solution. And here, I have to choose a protocol. Basically, for all web applications, we choose this web HTTP HTML protocol. Okay, for all web applications, which starts with HTTP HTTPS, right, on the browser address bar, you hit HTTP HTTPS, right? So for all those applications, we use this particular protocol. Okay, and then here you have to give the path where you want to save the script. So that's the location. So I'm going to create a new folder for you. So I'm going to create, click on these three horizontal dots, and I'm going to navigate to a path and create a new folder. Uh, One second. Okay. Okay, I'm going to create a new folder. Let's say June. Okay. So now in this particular folder, I'm going to save the script. The script name is, let's say, demo, because this is a demo class, right? So I'm giving the script name as demo. Ideally, we should give a meaningful name for whatever the functionality you are developing. But okay, this is the first session, right? I just gave demo. In our upcoming sessions, we will give a proper meaningful name. And then click on create. No need to give any other details, just click on create. So here, this is how the script will look like. Okay, this is how the layout will look like. This is the code editor. That means whatever the script you record, whatever the script it generates, it will display here. You can customize it, okay, if you want to. Okay, obviously that is important topic or concept, script customization. We have to learn few concepts to do script customization, which we will focus in our upcoming sessions. So the entire script that gets generated will be displayed here. So this is the solution explorer where you have different options, and which will support the script execution, recording, okay, and the script development. So there are different options. Okay, it contains, it supports for multiple reasons, for multiple users. You can use all these options over here. So we will discuss these options one by one, as and when required. Okay, but for now, what I can tell you is, I would like to record the entire script into this particular action. Action is a kind of placeholder for the code. Okay, so action is a kind of placeholder for the code. Now I'm gonna record everything into this action. But how do you record? When I'm saying I have to record launch, login, log off, but how do you record? So for that, you have a record icon over here as a shortcut, or you can click on this record menu bar, and then you can click on uh, record, and then record like this. For example, record, and then you can click on record. Okay, or else you can click this icon anytime. So just click on this record icon. When you click on this record icon, a pop-up window is appearing like this, where you have to select multiple options. The first important option what you have to select for today is the browser. Which browser you want to use for recording? Which browser you want to use for recording? See, you can record the workflow using Firefox, Chrome, Edge, like that. Okay, so you can choose the browser from here. You can choose the browser from here. Let's say I will choose Firefox. Then here you have to give the URL. What is your application URL that you want to record? Okay, so if you want to record a web tools application, of course this is the URL. So you have to give the URL here. Let's say you want to record Isha Training Solutions.com. You have to give the URL here. Okay, so these are the two basic important options that we have to choose before recording. Okay, so there are some recording options as well, which we will discuss in our upcoming sessions. But for now, these two are enough. Mozilla Firefox is the browser that I have chosen, and then I have given the application URL. Now, when I click on start recording, what will happen is this browser will be launched with this URL. Mozilla Firefox browser will be launched with the given URL. You can check it. Now, if I click on start recording, see what will happen. Mozilla Firefox will be launched with the given URL. Okay, see, it is launching, browser is launching, and the URL is loading. And then you will also see a movable window here. This movable window is purely for recording purpose. Like you can give some transaction names. Okay, you can stop recording, cancel recording, add comments. Okay, there are different options available here. They're very powerful window. Okay, similar window is available in JMeter also, but that is not as powerful as this. It contains some basic one or two options, but that is not as good as this particular movable window in LoadRunner. Okay, so it is still loading. Let's wait. Okay, sometimes it will take some time. Okay, 1 second. Let me stop recording. I'll record again. Basically, I didn't start the server. For the WebTools application, I have to start the server first. Otherwise, the application won't work. Okay, I will tell you how to start it and how to handle it. So there is a WebTools server which you have to start before you start recording. I thought I have already started it. I forgot. My bad. Okay, I just started. So this black command prompt screen appears, which means you are good to go. Now you go to LoadRunner again and click on this record icon. Give the browser. You can close the browser here now. The browser which is already open, you can close it and give the URL. Now click on start recording again. Okay, so no problem. You can, if you record again, it will overwrite the existing code. Let's say it recorded 1 or 2 lines. No problem, it will overwrite. See, the browser already opened, and then it will now launch the application also, WebTools application also. Now parallelly, you can see the mobile window. In this mobile window, see the application is launching. The WebTools application is launching. Okay, see the application launched successfully. Now in this mobile window, you see there is some number which keeps on increasing here. If this number keeps on increasing, it is actually a good sign. It means the tool is able to learn everything properly, okay, related to the application. That means it is able to capture the request and responses. Okay, that means it is able to record that application successfully. It means it will be able to record the application successfully. Okay, you need not worry if this number is increasing. You have to worry if the number is not increasing. Okay, if the number is not increasing, definitely you have to worry, because that means the script is not getting recorded properly. If the number keeps on increasing as and when you perform some action on the UI, well and good. Okay, now there are different options in this mobile window. Like this is stop recording, this is pause recording, this is cancel recording, this is into which action you want to record. Okay, this is like comments, checkpoints, rendezvous function. We'll see these things later. But the very important things that we have to discuss is these two. For today is these two. What is this? This is insert start transaction. This is insert end transaction. That means for every action we have to perform on the UI, first you have to start the transaction, give a name to it, and then perform the action on the UI, and then come back and then click on end transaction. So what is the purpose of that? When you do that, the tool will be able to calculate the amount of time it takes when we replay the script. Okay, so now the application is already launched. The application is already launched. Now, can anyone tell me what is the next action that I'm going to perform on the UI? Can anyone tell me?
Login
Login.
transaction.
Login. Login, right? So what I have to do? I have to click on this insert start transaction, give a name to it, a meaningful name. Let's say login for now. Of course, there is a naming convention which we'll discuss later. But for now, I'm giving login. Then immediately go and enter username and password and click on login button. That means perform the action on the UI. Now, after performing the action on the UI, wait for 4 to 5 seconds or wait until the page loads and then click on this insert end transaction. That means end the login transaction there itself. You have to end the login transaction there itself. Now, can anyone tell what is the next transaction that I wanted to record?
Log off.
Log
Log
off.
off.
So I'm going to click on insert start transaction, log off, and then click on OK. And then on the UI, I'm going to perform the sign off action. So on the left hand side, you have sign off button. I'm going to click it. The user logged out successfully. Wait for 5 seconds at least. And then make sure the page loaded completely. And then click on end transaction, log off. Now all these steps have been recorded successfully. Now it's time to stop recording. Click on stop recording. Now the tool will generate the script for us. The tool will generate the script for us. Okay. Now it will directly navigate to recording report, which we will discuss later. Not required now. Now directly I'll go to action. Now here you see it generated some piece of code, approximately some 50 lines. Now understand carefully or observe carefully line number 16. It says LR underscore start underscore transaction. LR underscore start underscore transaction is a inbuilt load runner function which is used to start a transaction. So how this line is getting generated? Just a few minutes ago, we had that movable window, right? Where I inserted a start transaction and I've given a name login. When I performed that particular step, this piece of code generated. And then after that, what did I do? Manually, I went to the UI and I entered username and password and I clicked on submit button. For that, this piece of code generated. You can see the username and password that I entered. Okay, so this piece of code generated and immediately you see LR end transaction login. That means you're starting here and you're ending here. In between whatever the code is there, that belongs to login functionality. Okay, similarly, see line number 39. It says LR start transaction log off and LR and line number 39. Line number 51, you see LR end transaction log off. In between whatever you have, that code belongs to log off functionality. Now log off is clearly readable. Now login is also clearly visible. We understood it. Now, can anyone tell me what is this request all about?
Launch.
Launch.
It is a
Obviously launch,
launch.
but if you observe carefully, there is no start transaction and end transaction for launch. The reason why there is no start transaction and end transaction for launch is even before I clicked on insert start transaction or even before that movable window appeared, the application was already launched. Yes or no? So when I clicked
Yeah.
on the start recording, so here, when I clicked on the start recording, this browser automatically launched it with this given URL. That's the reason we didn't get chance to give a start transaction and end transaction. No worries. We can do it manually also. Now here, I can write LR underscore start underscore transaction. So when you write the function name properly, when you name the function name properly, that would be in this color. Okay, if you write if you do some mistake, the function color will change. The load runner function color will change. LR means load runner. Load runner function color will change. When you write it properly, the function will be in this color. And then you have to give a proper meaningful name. Let's say launch. Now, where should I write LR underscore end transaction? Can anyone tell me the line number? Where can I write?
16 or 17.
Yeah,
After 16.
17. You can write in 17 or 18, wherever you want. That means after 16.
Yeah.
So you can write LR underscore end underscore transaction, LR underscore end underscore transaction. Okay. So here you can use launch. Okay. And then
LR auto.
whatever the name you are passing in the start transaction, same name should go here. If you do a small mistake also, it will throw error, which I will explain in the next session, in our upcoming sessions. Basically, I'll tell you what is the error, what are the errors, different errors that you get if you give incorrect names. And then here you have to give LR underscore auto, which is according to the syntax. I'll tell you why we have to use LR auto in our upcoming session. So now you see we have start transaction, end transaction for launch. Now it's time for replaying the script. The script is ready. I mean, we have developed some script. Okay, that means we have recorded some script. Now let me replay. How do you replay? There is an icon over here, or you can hit obviously F5, but then this icon is best for replaying the script. Now when I replay, it will give me how much time launch has taken, how much time login has taken, how much time log off has taken. It will tell me clearly. The script is passed, and here you can see launch, login, log off. Launch has taken 0.545 seconds. Login has taken 0.21 seconds. Log off has taken 0.327 seconds. That's the amount of time it has taken. Now you might get a doubt. Okay, this has taken this much of time, but is there any specific number that it should not exceed? According to the industry standard, the response time what you should get when you perform some transaction is it should be less than or equal to 2 seconds. That means if you click a link or if you click a button, you should navigate from one page to another page in 2 seconds. That means the next page should load in 2 seconds. That is the industry standard. However, for some projects, there are some exceptions based on their complex architecture and so on. The client might agree for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or max 7 seconds. So in all the projects that I have worked, the max response time the client has agreed upon is 7 seconds. Okay. But according to the industry standard, it should be 2 seconds only. Okay. So that's how you have to record the flow and replay it. See, we have completed this also. Any questions so far before I go to course content, and immediately I'll take again question answers.
Do we
Okay,
have to explicitly handle the session ID or any
we have to,
cookies or?
we have to, we have definitely we have
Okay.
to handle that. That will be covered as part of script customization. Okay, so whatever the points you mentioned are very, very, very important. If you don't handle them, the script will fail. Okay, provided checkpoints in place. Okay, it's a different concept which we have to learn. For scripting only, we will learn for almost 3 weeks. Okay, it's that important. Okay, why I will tell you once you go through the course content. Why I'll tell you why it will take that much time. So let me open the course content. So basically, okay. So this is a course content LoadRunner basic to advanced. Why did I say basic to advanced is we will be discussing or practicing some advanced scripting as well. Okay, so now this course begins by discussing the architecture basics, introduction to performance testing life cycle, and then you have these very important theoretical concepts: proof of concept, non-functional requirements, test plan, workload modeling. Very important for interview point of view. From interview point of view, these are very important. Okay, and then we will discuss about introduction to LoadRunner. I'll assist you in installation, or my team will assist you in installation. We'll also understand components, record and replay, features of Vusion tool. Okay, and then best scripting practices in Vusion, transaction names, naming conventions, understanding the script, how to exclude unnecessary code. Okay, sometimes you record a script and it will generate some unnecessary piece of code. How do you exclude that? How do you make sure that it won't come again and again? Okay, and then learning some important inbuilt functions. How do you handle multiple actions? What are the debugging options? Recording versus replay. And then recording options also we will see. Runtime settings. Runtime settings are the settings which will assist in replaying the script. Basically, when you want to replay a script, we need some runtime settings also. Okay, so we will discuss that runtime settings. And then we will discuss some recording options like HTML based recording versus URL based recording. Very important. And then checkpoints. Checkpoints means a kind of assertions. If you have ever heard about assertions, the term assertions, it's a kind of validation. So checkpoints and assertions are same. Then the very important, again, the most frequently asked question, sir, is coding required for LoadRunner? I'm not going to say no, because I know that personally, for some of the scripts you need some 5% of coding, 5 to 10% of coding. 90% of the script will be automatically handled. 90 to 95% of the script we can handle automatically, like correlation, parameterization, all these things we can do it easily. But sometimes, very less, 5% of the times, we need to write a small customized code depending on the requirement. Okay, so we will learn that. But how many days it will take for us to learn, and what language it is going to support? It basically it supports C language and JavaScript, but we are going to prefer C language because it is the most widely used supporting language, because it's been there since ages. So many years it is supporting. Now, for every problem of LoadRunner script related to script customization, you have a solution in C language. With JavaScript introduced recently, you have very less solutions available for various problems on various social media platforms as well. Okay, and 99% of the projects are still using C language as supporting language for your LoadRunner scripts. Then, considering all these things, we are going to learn C language basics for 3 to 4 days. Okay, 3 to 4 sessions. It includes the concepts like variables, data types, if statements, loops and conditions, select case statements, and functions. Okay, so these are the different concepts. Then you have some inbuilt C language functions or some LoadRunner functions, very important ones to for script customization we will learn, and a little bit of advanced C. I mean advanced C in sense not pointers and all those things, guys. Don't get scared or something like that. We will not go anywhere there, nearby there also. So this simple concept is like, how do you write data to file? How do you read data from file? Because we might need to perform this action sometimes in your script. And I'll also explain what are the real-time challenges in scripting. Then we will discuss correlation concept for 3 to 4 days. Very important. Okay, it is that important that if you don't know, or if you don't practice, or if you're unable to do correlation, your script will always be incomplete. Okay, it is that important. Now this will be explained in 3 to 4 sessions. Okay, and then you have parameterization. Parameterization is all about handling dynamic data, parameterized data. Like for example, passing different test data to the scripts and all those things. Till here, the scripting concepts will be discussed. From here, the script uploading, configuration, scenario configuration, execution. I mean, how do you execute? What are the different types of performance testing you can configure? All these things you can discuss here in controller or performance center. Okay. Then you have analysis for analyzing. As I told you, analysis is a component which will give you various metrics in terms of graphs, like summary report, 90th percentile, transaction summary, response code, hits per second, like that. There are various graphs, various options, metrics, and graphs. Okay, which we'll discuss for a couple of days. Then analyzing results and providing observations, drafting email with all observations to client. Basically, you won't find this anywhere, but this is very, very important. See, if you develop a script, execute, analyze, but it is very important how you communicate to client with all the inputs in your email, because you, with your decision only, the client will take a call whether to go ahead with deployment or not. If the application performance is very poor according to you, they won't proceed further until it is fixed. So that means your input is very important to client. That's the reason I have put a separate session for drafting email with all observations to client. Okay. Then you have 2-3 sessions on interview question and answers. Then scripting will be practiced on multiple applications. Like most of you might have heard here and there that we always practice scripting on web tools. Okay, web tools is also one of the application where we learn the concepts. We learn the concepts using web tools, but we practice concepts using other applications. Okay, there are multiple applications which we practice, because the more number of applications you practice, the more confident you will be with respect to scripting. Okay, then you have a separate concept called virtual table server, which is more or less kind of parameterization, but with a different options. We'll discuss that as a separate session. Okay, and then apart from all of this, see, now LoadRunner tool is covered, already covered. LoadRunner tool concepts are already covered. Now, apart from all of those, we have added some bonus topics which are most widely used or discussed in the recent days in IT, especially with respect to performance testing. Now, Fiddler and R file scripting, yes, we have to cover it. When we are unable to record a script, we generally use Fiddler and R file, for which we have a session. I'll tell you. I mean, I'll include in somewhere in between. Then APM tools, application monitoring tools, AppDynamics and Dynatrace. So I will be taking a live session either on AppDynamics or Dynatrace. Okay, and the other session I will give a recorded session. The reason is I can take both live sessions, no problem. But these two are actually APM tools, application monitoring tools, which are used to continuously monitor the system performance, the server's performance. So these are actually you know two competitors. AppDynamics and Dynatrace are two competitors in two APM tool competitors. I mean, when we are handling both the tools in the same machine, we are getting some conflict, especially in my machine. So that's the reason I will be able to take one live session on Dynatrace or AppDynamics. The other session I will be able to give you a recorded session for sure. Okay. So it can be Dynatrace or AppDynamics at that point of time, whichever tool works for us. I'll try to give both, but in worst case, I can give one recorded session. Either it could be AppDynamics or Dynatrace. Then I will tell you what is CI/CD Jenkins at a high level, because very, very important nowadays. Why Jenkins is discussed with respect to performance testing? How is it actually related to? We have never heard about it with respect to performance testing space. Yes, but nowadays in future as well, we have to start understanding these concepts with respect to performance testing as well. Okay, that's the reason. Then I will also tell you how to trigger a local local LoadRunner scenario from Jenkins. Then I will take one separate session on True Client protocol. It is a different protocol. Okay, like how I told you web protocol for web applications. Similarly, True Client is also one of the protocol. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. I'll tell you that. Then I will also tell you about what is a thread dump and heap dumps, how to analyze them. Okay, I will explain you. I'll tell you what is a thread, what is a heap dump, what is heap memory, what is thread. I'll explain you those concepts as well. Then I'll also tell you about what are load balancer algorithms. Okay, one of the interview question also. That's the reason I'm going to explain you this. Then connecting to DB through LoadRunner, I will give you a recorded session for this particularly. For this, separate session, recorded session I'll give you, which is for connecting the LoadRunner tool to database, MySQL database. Okay. At the same time, you'll also get the recorded sessions of web services. That not everything is UI. Of course, majority is UI, but very minimal. There might be here and there. There might be API also, right? So how to record, how to handle APIs? Okay, that also we will give a recorded sessions. Okay, so along with this course. So this is the entire course content. Okay, now uh, now it is time for Q&A. Can anyone, you can ask questions directly, or I can take the questions from the chat window as well. Let me take the questions from chat window. Version of LoadRunner 2022. Will you cover JMeter? No, it's a separate course. One second. Installation, we can guide you, no problem. So professional enterprise, it's only the licensing package difference. The way we execute is little bit different, but I mean the approach is same, the options are same. I mean the UI is little bit different. Okay, professional and enterprise. Okay, web tools also we will take care, no problem. I've not done performance testing. Is LoadRunner good? Yes, yes, definitely. See, basically, we will be installing you a license, trial version. Okay, I'm sure it will not expire because I think it is free for 50 users or so, if I'm not wrong. So what what I'm gonna tell is uh, like uh, for those who are completely new to performance testing, either you start with LoadRunner or with JMeter, but don't learn both at a time. I'm not forcing you to start with LoadRunner. I can tell that you can start either with LoadRunner or JMeter, but don't learn both at a time. There was a participant in one of my earlier batches. I clearly told him that not to learn both at a time. Okay, because both are two different tools, and when we learn both at a time, even without learning one tool completely, we try to compare both of them, which is absolutely wrong. And we end up learning only 25% of both the tools, which is again of no use. So what I suggest is start with one tool, master that tool in 30 to 45 days, and then begin with next tool. Okay, it hardly, I mean, nowadays, you know, right? Recently June 1st started, now it's already June 8th. Now it's very quickly, you can wait for 30 days and learn one tool and then begin with another tool. Okay, why do you want to uh, you know learn travel in both the boats at a time and face problems? Not required. Okay, you can definitely start with the LoadRunner, guys. Okay, next question. Yes, daily recordings will be provided. Material also will be interview questions material will also be provided. Course number of sessions will be like 40 to 45 sessions. 42 to 45 sessions, anywhere between them. Will you get? Yes, you will get everyday recorded sessions. Yes, assignments. I will give you assignments, regular assignments when we start practicals. That means when we start scripting, I'll give regular assignments. Okay. So I have answered all the questions on the chat window. Can you guys ask directly now? I mean, I can go through that, but
Yes, Krishik.
yeah.
So the protocol we are only covering true client, like one session, and web protocol only, right?
Web protocol, true client, web services recorded sessions will be given. LoadRunner database connection session, right? In that we are using Java user protocol. So all in all, you will have an
Mm-hmm.
idea about 4 protocols, which is more than enough.
Okay.
Okay, if
Okay.
you go to any interview, they will ask you a minimum of 2. Okay, anything more than
Okay.
2 is beneficial to you.
Okay. And what about this? There is a location editor, right, where we can set up different region and all. Will you be covering that part from controller?
No, I mean because if you have to set up that way, our load generators must be in different locations. So currently, our load generators are not in different locations, but that doesn't impact anywhere. So see, if you think practically also, when you are doing a load testing, if they ask you to choose a load generator from a different location, you just have to go and select that option. That's it. I mean, it's hardly a 5 seconds task. I mean, for that, I think to create a separate load generator machine from a different location is not required. That's what I feel.
Okay. But we do have that option, right? Like in a virtual location editor where we can set up different location from the
I can
global
show,
library.
I can show it in other tool. Uh, Basically, I'm not sure if you have ever heard about BlazeMeter. I can show you there,
Yes,
like
I heard.
yeah, you might have heard it, right? So I can take like some 30 minutes or 45 minutes session on BlazeMeter, how it works, and how is it different from LoadRunner and execution. I can show you there how the load LGs can be selected from different locations. So I can take that tool help for you guys if you want to.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because I was actually more interested on the bonus topics. But in that, some of the topics you are going to give only one session or the recorded sessions only, right?
Uh, See, I mean, if you actually, it's a big concept, right? I mean, if I keep on discussing, right, it will take 100 sessions, including all those bonus
Mm-hmm.
sessions. It will take like 70, 80 sessions. It will take. I mean, it's not feasible.
Okay.
So, I mean, this
Oh,
course
yeah,
is
yeah, I get
primarily
it.
for
Yeah.
load runner. Yeah, primarily for load
Yeah.
runner. But I want my participants to know what they
Mm-hmm.
have to understand in detail for in future. So that's the reason I'm
Okay.
giving more information about the additional topics. And let's say if you take AppDynamics or Dynatrace, let's take 2 sessions for that. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
ask me how much are you going to cover, I can confidently say that whatever the daily task that you do as part of your performance testing role with respect to AppDynamics or Dynatrace, that will be covered. Okay, that means uh, whatever the metrics that you monitor. Okay, how do you create dashboards? Okay, how
Okay.
do you monitor the slow methods? How do you capture slow methods? How do you capture slow queries? Okay, because of which because of which the application is slow. So all these things we will learn. So that is more than enough for any performance tester, because that's what we do in our day-to-day work activities, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like 1 session or 2 sessions. It's the it's the content of the session which is important.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Krishik. Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
this app dynamic Dynatrace and specifically CI/CD Jenkins, so you will provide additional support, right? Like, if at all needed, like for my current
Yes.
work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Okay.
can.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kushik Vijay here. You are able to
Yeah.
hear
Tell me.
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Can you
on the
please
li-
speak a bit louder?
yeah, on the license cost, what would be the cost of the license? Like in case, or I can use it anytime until unless it's less number of users. How is it?
So the trial version what you can install will work for lifetime. Okay, with the limitation of 50 users. If I'm not wrong. So I don't think we need any license tool for practice or anything. We can go with trial version only. License is obviously costly, but it is it can be directly used in your office premises, or in your real time projects you can use it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
There is no difference of features. Like let's say in some of the tools, for trial version there will be limited features. For full version there will be additional features. But good thing in LoadRunner is in trial version also you have full set of features.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
Kushik Vijay here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So addition to web-based HTTP protocol, so we have also got in a tool that DevOps protocol, right? So are you going to cover that one as well?
No. I mean, if DevWeb, it's a separate protocol to handle. So, I mean, there is a separate course, if I'm not wrong. So you have to reach out to Kumar sir for that. But I'm 100% sure that in any interview, if you go, they will ask you minimum 2, not more than that. You know, I have been seeing, and I personally take many interviews. Okay, so they will take they will ask minimum 2 protocols. Web and web services are very, very important. Anything web services, true client, these 3 are your main protocols. Okay, so
Why I
any
asked, because it's like, some of the applications are there that through which still, they're not able to record get and to get the
the
logs from
true,
that. Yeah.
but that is very, very, very less than the amount of applications related to those are very less, like like 0.1%, 0.2%, like that. But considering that, let's say you after learning this course, if you want to specifically look into DevWeb or something like that on priority basis, you can reach out to Kumar sir. I mean, you need not learn separate live sessions for that. You can get some recorded sessions also, like for very minimum amount. Okay, I think Kumar sir has provided that facility, so where you can get or purchase some recorded sessions for very minimum amount of the other protocols which they use very rarely.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Fine. Thank you, Kushik.
Okay, yeah. So hope I clarified all your queries. If you have any other queries, do let me know. I can wait for another couple of minutes.
Class would be daily this time, right?
Yes, daily same time. Good question. So daily same time, weekly 5 days, Monday to Friday. So if you have any questions with respect to practice and all, you can ping me. So if any one of you are getting stuck with with some practice sessions and all, I can assist you. Okay. So no problem in that. And interview questions, I prepared a document. Okay. So I can share you the document, the interview questions document as well. I mean, I have some good amount of questions with answers. So I will share you that interview questions document. It will definitely help you before attending interview. You can go through that interview questionnaire document, and you can plan to attend interviews.
Okay. And I hope you will be giving the support if for our regular work if at all got stuck with anyway somewhere in our regular project
Your
work
voice
in
is
our
too
office.
slow. I'm really sorry actually.
Yeah.
I,
Is it
I can
audible now,
give.
Kushik?
Yeah, I see support in sense, if you're stuck somewhere in your
Exactly. Something like that. Yeah.
work and all, I can definitely assist you, but it cannot be
Thank you.
continuous work activity. Somewhere and all, if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are stuck, I
definitely.
can definitely assist you.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Kind of a suggestions where exactly
Yes,
needs
yes,
to be.
100%,
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So after this class, I'm gonna ping you in the WhatsApp group. So you can save my number. You can reach out to me for any further technical questions or course related queries. Okay. For any payment related queries, you can directly reach out to Kumar sir. I mean, he is there in that group, obviously. You can respond, you can ask them, they will respond related to payment. Okay. So any other questions, guys? Okay, I'm stopping the recording
No,
here.